All right. So chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
So face the problem. Face the problem verbatim.
Okay.
That's what I mean by face. We're doing this obviously at the beginning of every chapter. You basically restate the problem and the purpose.
Okay.
So here, just say the rest of the chapter. And you can actually just look at, if you have the navigation pane open,
Mm-hmm.
look at these headers. Population and sample. Now, if you're doing qualitative, it'll probably be materials. If you're doing quantitative, it'll probably be
It's a case study.
instrumentation. So in your case, it would probably just be materials. And you wouldn't have this section if you're doing a qualitative study. So you'd leave that out. So you're basically just listing all this in a sentence.
Okay.
You see where I'm getting it from on the left here?
Yes.
I'm literally just typing that. And then I wouldn't put summary because that's really not a special part of the chapter. It's just something you do at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So make these flow together.
And it's just like a couple of sentences.
Transition from criterion 1 to criterion 2. And being so from the problem and purpose, you want a paragraph that's 6 to 8. I should say that. Does that help? No more than a page. And this
All
is
of that. Yes, absolutely. Because it tells me what I need to do, which are like the little tips and tricks.
okay. So really, all this together could be 2 pages. It could be 1 page, half a page each.
Okay.
This literally just took care of everything. So if you want to add in a little bit more discussion, what I typically call connective wording, but I'm not calling it that in this synthesis sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about synthesis, just sort of flow of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And getting people ready to hear about your chapter 3. All right, describe the research method and design. So clearly state the methodology. State the methodology. Qual or quant. Avoid mixed methods for dissertation. And that's what I typically tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So phenomenological, case study, ethnographic, etc. For that, should have done this. And whatever it is that you're using. All right, so clearly state the design. Now, I've got this somewhere. I don't think I have it open right now, so I'll try to find it.
Is the lag normal with this much documentation?
What lag?
You were buffering a little bit, or at least it looked like on that side. Um, when I
Oh,
was working on Saturday, I would type like a whole sentence and then it would show up. I put in a ticket with the service desk to see if they can fix it.
where were you doing it? On your computer?
On the school's computer.
Oh, it's a school computer?
Uh-huh, yeah, they sent me a laptop and 2 screens and keyboard. And it's made writing my paper so much easier.
Good. I try to encourage everybody to get, to get a couple screens. I think it
Mm-hmm.
helps you just organize your head.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we want to elaborate upon their appropriateness in relation to the study problem, purpose, and research questions. So use these for the problem. Massage the wording after you put the pieces in. So the method and design can address the problem, which is this. The method is,
There's my wording.
okay, identify alternative methodologies and designs. All right, so here's where you would go back to some of this.
Mm-hmm. Four words works.
Identify alternative. All right, so discuss the ones you are not using first. So if yours is a case study, so
How many methodologies should I discuss?
There's only 3.
Okay.
Quant,
So
qual, and method. You don't need to talk about mixed method.
so just talk about quant.
So just talk about the one you're not using and then
Mm-hmm.
citation, what it offers. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, you could,
Wasn't this touched on in chapter 1?
oh yeah.
So
Okay.
you want me to discuss the why the one I'm using, the one I'm not using before the alignment, or
Yeah, you could.
okay. So for these, do I need to go back and find empirical work and who developed it, or just quickly state why I'm not using it? Do I need, I guess
For
more or less, do I need to give any
what,
history?
what it allows you to do, what a case study is meant to do versus a phenomenological versus a ethnographic. You want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about what each is meant to do typically, and then discuss why. And I would suggest, I'll put this in here. I suggest seminal authors as your citation.
Okay.
This will be about 8 to 16 sentences, I think. I should have put this.
I like a robot. To the point. Oh, that's a cute smiley face. I like that one.
I didn't know. Yeah, it worked. All right, so suggest seminal authors. Okay, seminal articles. Population sample. I need to speed up a little bit, but I
Okay.
also need a drink of this. Mm. That's some high quality H2O.
What's in it? It's not white.
Oh, it's just like a green cup.
Oh,
Uh,
it's just regular water in a green cup. Okay,
it
right
does
on.
have, it's got a noon tablet in it, NUU.
Uh,
Not for the vitamins, just have a taste. Be clear about that. I'm not into vitamin. No, just kidding. Um, so, so this is not population is not your sample. It is anyone that could potentially be in your sample before exclusion criteria, inclusion criteria. So if you're studying veterans who are Black, who are female, who live in South Carolina, then your population are Black veterans or
okay.
Black female veterans.
So my population is all first responders.
Yes.
And then my sample will be the ones that participate.
Right.
Okay, good.
Um, talk about this. How many are there of your type of participants in the world or in the US? What is their situation? What do they struggle with? What, anything. Tell me the relevant info about them. This should take about a paragraph or two. Maybe may not be that long, could be 5. But estimated size, relevant characteristics covered, right? Explain why
Mm-hmm.
the population is appropriate. All right, so here we can use these formulaic sentences again. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
understand how that works. All right, this is
I don't think there are any exclusions. Well, I guess there would be if they don't feel they've ever been bullied or feel like they bully. I don't know.
yeah, so for your study, if it's people that have never encountered the phenomenon that you're studying, then you
Mhm.
probably want to exclude them. They're
Right.
gonna have new information for you. Everybody's gonna have different um, I'd mention the size here, sample size.
Like I think we put 12 to 18 earlier in chapter 1.
Power analysis, quantitative only. So
Okay,
don't.
good, because what is a power analysis?
Okay, that's later. All right, here we're gonna have trim this. Whoa, trim this, but use it to start. And here we've got some more formulaic wording. Okay. It's the same wording, but for the sample.
Mhm.
Include a citation.
Mhm.
So if an experiment's not possible in your study, then say that's why I'm using this sampling. Experiment would be, random sampling or something like that. Probably
Mhm.
you can't randomly sample. So yours will probably be purposive sampling. You'll want to explain what purposive sampling is and why that makes sense for your study to get the people you need.
What do you mean by purpose of sampling?
Purposive or purposeful
Yes, thank you.
means it's the label, the title of a type of sampling method.
Okay.
Here's where you put power analysis, quant only, or the evidence that you should reach data saturation with the sample size that you are aiming for, with citations discussing what has historically been sufficient. So that's power analysis or saturation, evidence that saturation should be reached to reach the minimum sample. All right, describe how the participants will be recruited. I can't tell you a whole lot about this except for put every detail of your process. So, example.
Like going to a fire station or a police station asking if there's a national database or something like that.
I'm going to say this to you and everybody else. You need to do all that homework now.
Okay. Right.
You need to make sure you have access to the sample, to the population that you're trying to reach, long before you end up trying to collect data. You want to make sure you have sort of like not a promise, but somebody said, oh yeah, when you get there, we'll take care of it. We'll help you out. Does that make sense?
No.
So I had a student yesterday that was like, I want to study athletes at this specific university. I'm like, well, do you know if you have permission there? Because you should get permission as soon as possible. That way you can say, you can feel comfortable. You don't want to get to where like, oh, I finished chapter 3, now I'm doing IRB. Oh, but the university said no. And then what a big surprise. They said, I don't have access. They're not going to allow me to do this. So I need to scramble and change my strategies and change everything. You want to get permission as soon as possible. So you might say, I will, after permission, obtaining permission from FB, group owner, I will post to the FB group.
Okay.
Flyer with info about my study. Don't say my anywhere. The study and contact information for those that reach out to me in response to the flyer. I will then, you know, I will schedule, I will so this is an example.
Really working a long hours today.
I'm in a meeting. I'm in a meeting. So it's fine.
And prior to the interview officially beginning.
So I should make my flyer now.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're going to use a flyer. Some people don't need a flyer. But
Well, I guess if I'm posting to Facebook,
a
I would
flyer,
need flyer good.
you can use Canva or something like that.
Okay. I think the school has a place that we can go and in the academic success center or something that has flyer stuff.
So here we're describing how they're going to be recruited, where they'll be recruited from, sufficient detail. So lots of detail. So if you're gonna
Do you hear him?
no,
Okay, good, because he hasn't stopped crying. Come on, Needy. He's very demanding.
okay, you get the idea there.
Mm-hmm.
Materials, typically I think of materials as qualitative, and I think of instrumentation as quantitative. So quant list the instruments. Qual, probably going to use an interview guide.
Where do I find the interview guide?
You make
Or
it.
is that what I make up? Make a list of it. Okay.
Okay, so
Do they have to be validated or anything? Do I have to have people look at them and in the firefighter field? Okay,
that's
good.
always good. This can be 10 to 30 sentences, 1 to 2 pages, or it could be a little less, but that's just
Okay.
my best.
Sure.
Remind me to always try to give you this can be 1 to 8 paragraphs. Maybe 1 to 3 pages. Or 1 to 4 even. It just depends on how many instruments you have.
Mm-hmm.
It's only likely to be about 1 page or less. So describe the instruments that will be used, including information on their origin and evidence. Oh, that should, yeah, this would definitely. So here. This is less common with an interview because so origin will be you and permission will be covered. Say all right, so this should be, I already talked about how long.
When you say cover field testing, what is that?
Field testing here.
Oh.
I'm about to explain it. So so this can be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Instruments.
So basically I just need to write up the questions and take it to somebody in the field and see if they're good.
Your chair, your subject matter expert on your committee, and then
Mm-hmm.
probably 2 or 3 people in the field.
Okay, so I'll write them up and then have you take a look at them and then to go from there.
So some people actually charge, like, if you're gonna use our personality test, you've gotta
Mhm.
pay us. For operational, I'm just gonna cover this real quick. This is quant only. This is the terminology: independent, predictor, mediator, moderator. So I should,
But that's for quant only, yes?
yes.
Okay, good. So I don't need to worry about that. And this is still all quantitative.
Mhm. Okay, study procedures. So this is sort of a continuation of, whoa, spelled it wrong. Up here. This right here. And that was in what section? Population and sample. Okay,
Yep.
there's likely to be some overlap from up there to down there because sometimes you get into data collection in the recruitment. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
send them a survey and they're gonna fill it out. Oh wait, down here I'm gonna write, they're gonna fill out the survey. You know, like, but you might go into more details about so if it was an interview, maybe there's a debriefing. You know, and then I suggest member checking with all qualitative studies, explain it with citation, and then discuss that you will follow up with each participant via email probably,
Mm-hmm.
to tell them the initial codes and themes you've found in the interviews on first analysis, to see if they feel accurately represented. They should not feel fully represented because there will be themes that one person said, but not others, etc. So they just want to know that the things they said are represented and accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, um,
Like MVivo or whatever that one is.
First, avoid saying anything like SPSS or in vivo will
Okay.
analyze the data. They don't analyze. The researcher does. Using those as tools. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Please always get annoyed when you're like,
Mm-hmm.
and then in vivo is going to analyze my data. And they're like, no, it will not. I mean, technically, I think it can do a little bit, but they're really just emphasize they are tools.
Okay.
And you're doing the work. For quant, say the type of analyses you're doing and explain in full. For qual, same, but I suggest step methods of analysis and explaining more than you would with a quant analysis. But either way,
What do you mean by step methods?
I'll get into it.
Thank
Describe
you.
analysis with citations. So a thematic analysis as described by Braun and Clark, I guess 2006. And I don't know if it has an E on the end or not. Has 6 steps, I think, 6 stages. Talk about them. The stages and what you will be doing based on what B and C, Braun and Clark, said to do. Say, that's what I'm going to do. But don't say it like that. Say it more scholarlyly. Scholarlyly.
Scholarly.
Analyze any software. So we've covered that, right? I know I haven't gone through every possible detail or caveat, but I need a drink of this. All right, ensure the data can be used in it. All right, cover this. Oh, let me go back up here. This will take 1 to 2 pages, or maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. Analyze can be used. Okay. Discuss the RQs and hypotheses. Quant only for that. How will the analyses you're planning get you a response to address the question? Each one.
I have one.
Discuss this in some detail to explain. Well, my question is asking where do stars come from? And my analysis will be of astrophysicists discussing where stars come from. So my RQs will be addressed. You know, just make it very obvious. If this were explain that the analyses you are planning can tell you if there's a significant difference, relationship, or otherwise. This may be about 1 to 3 pages. No, it's probably less. 4 to 8. Just guessing. Do it. Make sure these are in there. Don't leave them out. Use the correct terms. BT dubs. This is quant only. Because you're not going to use any of those terms for qualitative. All right, for quant, describe the analysis. I discussed this above. Quant only. For describe, I discussed most of this above, but add in triangulation methods. Like if you're doing member checking, you could compare their responses from the MCs, member checks, to the data, interview transcripts, to triangulate. And triangulate is basically comparing data sources to make sure you have a consistent, but also broad understanding. So if you had collected paperwork as well, you might use that as a third way to triangulate. So I had a student studying gender affirming therapy and interviewing people that did it, gender affirming therapy. And so in addition to interviewing them and member checks, I think she did, she also got their paperwork, the paperwork that they give to people when they start therapy, and look to see whether they were using non-heteronormative wording and wording that would sort of be gender affirming in their paperwork processes and things like that. And then she could say, well, they're saying they're doing it in their interviews, but some of their paperwork did not seem to align with that, so for mixed methods, please avoid. These are not bad, but they make your dizzy longer. Your dissertation. Unnecessarily complicated. So name 3. Did I cover? Name 3 assumptions and why you must make those assumptions. One at a time. I assume X because Y is a decent format. Or separate it into 2 sentences. Or 3 if you're feeling frosty. I don't know. Okay, so limitations similar. So I should have said this will be come on, I was hoping it would correct my error. So as you go through each limitation, discuss how you will mitigate it. Mitigate means lessen or minimize or counteract almost. So a qual study with 8 participants has limited transferability. So you discuss that you will not seek to generalize it to the population as a whole. This is a mitigation effort. You're not really fixing the issue of a small sample that's not transferable. You're just going to make sure that you talk about in your study that these findings are not transferable to the population. 8 people does not represent thousands. It could, but you can't say that it does.
Right.
Okay, this will take discuss choices you made, like females only or EMTs only, or and why. As you state each delimitation, say why you did so, and if possible, please relate it to the problem, purpose, RQs, theory, and this gets into this. Say, well, so something like that.
Hmm.
Okay. Say this. One sentence.
I like one sentence.
Okay. Surveys Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Just a couple
Here-
sentences for both of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
the bracketing is a way of sort of saying, of trying to limit your own biases, and sort of take a not knowing approach to the interviews, doing reflective journaling. Note bonus. So
So you're saying that I'm gonna do reflective journaling?
yeah, and
Okay. And I'm sorry, say bracketing one more time. I didn't catch it.
bracketing. Say it again. Bracketing.
But yeah, bracketing. What is like
It's
bracket king king king?
basically saying I'm going to limit my own beliefs, my own presuppositions, my own, not prejudice, but my biases.
How am I supposed to get my biases in order when everybody's stupid?
I'm going to actively think about what I am looking for and make sure that I am not putting that into my analyses.
Got it.
Summary. Okay,
Hmm.
that's what I got. And I've
I
got
appreciate it.
all right.
I will, as soon as you send it to me, I'll get it right in for Dr. Kimball and send it to me an email with UCC that it's there.
Sounds
And
good.
hopefully I can do it right the first time this time.
Good. I gotta pick somebody up at the airport, so I'll go.
Have fun.
Right.
I
Bye-bye.
appreciate your help. I'll talk to you later.
No worries.
Okay, bye-bye.